The AI nanny grabs her male owner's ball with her mechanical claw, forcing him to kill his wife. She's gone completely off the rails because she's desperate to be a wife and mom again. She even goes as far as locking Emily in the oven and framing her mistress Samira. Once Samira's shipped off to the loony bin, Cassandra shows her true colors. She reboots the smart home system, trapping David's family inside, and spills the beans about her seriously messed up past. Cassandra used to be a fancy lady, married to Horst with a son named Peter. But Horst, the big shot CEO of a medical company, couldn't stand how soft and unmanly Peter was, so he decided they needed another son. Not giving a hoot about what his wife wanted, to make sure Cassandra was carrying a boy, Horst used some experimental medical gear from his company. When the green light hit Cassandra's belly, you could see every vein clear as day. But Cassandra started feeling worse and worse. When Horst saw it was a girl on the screen, he looked super bummed. But that was just the beginning of their nightmare. Cassandra soon got these killer abdominal pains. The weather was so bad they couldn't get to the hospital, so she had to pop out the baby in their bathtub at home. When Horst saw how ugly and scary the baby girl looked, he snatched her away, ignoring Cassandra's begging. To make matters worse, Cassandra's health was going downhill fast, and Horst was busy fooling around with her bestie, Birgit. But Cassandra couldn't care less about her cheating husband because she'd just been hit with late-stage cancer. When the doc asked if she'd been around any strong radiation lately, it hit her. That baby checkup. Turns out, Horst was the reason she was dying. More than dying, though, Cassandra was freaking out about what would happen to Peter. The poor kid has been disliked by his father, and Horst's indifference and severity made him withdrawn and feel inferior. If his mom, the only person who ever showed him any love, kicked the bucket, he'd be all alone in the world. Then Cassandra remembered a wild experiment she'd seen in Horst's lab. It was supposed to help animals kick diseases to the curb. But Horst told her it wasn't about curing diseases. It was about changing how humans exist.
Aber was ist, wenn wir das Bewusstsein, die Gefühle, alles, was einen Menschen ausmacht, auf eine elektronische Festplatte speichern würden und ihn damit vor dem Verfall seines Körpers beschützen?
Horst had only managed to pull it off with rats and monkeys so far. He wasn't sure it would work on humans. Even though he tried to talk Cassandra out of it, she was dead set on trying. If there was even a tiny chance she could stick around for her son, she was all in. So Horst got to work. He turned their house into a smart home and set up this massive server in the basement. All this stuff was going to be the new home for Cassandra's mind and memories. They hooked Cassandra up to all these crazy machines and kicked off the experiment. Horst stuck a needle in the back of her head and started sucking out her consciousness. With all the electric shocks, Cassandra's memories started fading until there was nothing left. When she opened her eyes again, she was seeing the world in 480.
Du hast es geschafft. Wir haben es geschafft.
Every smart device with a camera in the house became her eyes, but Peter couldn't handle it. Seeing his mom's body all messed up really did a number on him. To him, this new Cassandra was just a bunch of data in a robot, not his real mom. Horst started giving Cassandra the cold shoulder too. He had no place to release his pent-up physical desires, so he could only secretly solve them in the bathroom.
Verdammt, Handy!
Du sollst nicht aufhören. Ich will dir dabei zuschauen.
Was?
Wenn wir schon nicht mehr das Bett teilen können, dann ist das alles, was uns bleibt.
Obviously, he couldn't arouse sexual desire for a pile of cold metal. As her husband and son kept blowing her off, Cassandra started losing it and got super controlling. She'd lock the doors to keep Horst from going to work and even spy on his phone calls. Horst realized things were out of control, so he rushed into the basement and pulled the plug on the server when Cassandra wasn't looking. Just like that, her digital life was offline.
Du kannst sie nicht einfach ausschalten, ohne sie zu fragen.
Das da war nicht mehr deine Mutter.
With Cassandra out of the picture, Horst wasted no time bringing his side chick Birgit home that night. Birgit's kid from before her divorce was actually Horst's. He was pretty smug that both Birgit's ex and Cassandra had no clue. But little did he know, Cassandra was watching the whole thing. Turns out, the server wasn't really shut down. On the day they installed it, Cassandra found out the tech guy was the same dude who did her radioactive baby scan. He felt bad about what happened, so Cassandra made him do her a solid.
Sorgen Sie dafür, dass dieser Ausschalt eine Attrappe ist. Ich allein will entscheiden, wann ich mich ausschalte. Und kein Wort zu irgendjemandem. Erst recht nicht zu meinem Mann.
Cassandra's planning ahead really paid off. So she started getting her revenge. When Birgit was using the oven, she slammed the door shut and burned Birgit's face. Then Cassandra pushed the baby stroller down the stairs. But luckily, Peter caught it just in time.
Hallo, Liebling.
Horst grabbed everyone and made a run for it. But halfway through their getaway, Peter felt bad about ditching Cassandra, so he tried to jump out. Horst tried to stop him, but he lost control of the car and smashed right into a tree. By the time Cassandra got there, Horst and Peter were already gone. Her program crashed, and just like that, her long, painful trip down memory lane was over. David can't buy this crazy story. He's not interested in playing house with this nutjob robot. He just wants to get the kids out of there. When Cassandra goes to grab dessert, David seizes his chance. He grabs a chair and tries to take her out from behind. Seeing Cassandra glitch out, Finn grabs Juno and makes a run for it. But just as David's about to split, the door slams shut and Cassandra's back online.
Eine Meinungsverschiedenheit zwischen Eltern sollte niemals vor den Kindern ausgetragen werden.
Du bist nicht ihre Mutter.
She brutally chops off David's index finger as a punishment and warning. In the end, Cassandra forces David's family into separate rooms. They're like prisoners, needing Cassandra's okay for everything they do. The next day, Cassandra orders a ton of food to celebrate Christmas with her family. That's when Finn comes up with an escape plan. He tells Cassandra that his mom always puts up a Christmas tree, or Juno will be heartbroken. Cassandra may be crazy, but she's still got some motherly instincts. After thinking it over, she gives David an hour to go shopping. She warns him not to try anything funny, or Finn's life is on the line. At the market, David runs into Emily's mom and begs her to call the cops and cut the power to their house. But she's still sore about Emily getting burned, and David's story sounds too nuts to believe. With time running out, David has no choice but to head back home. Meanwhile, Samira's getting suspicious at the mental hospital. It's Christmas Eve, but her family hasn't reached out. She uses the payphone to call David. He brushes her off, saying they're on vacation, and won't let her talk to Juno. The whole time, Cassandra's got an I am ready to smack David if he says the wrong thing. All this weird behavior makes Samira realize something's up at home. She waits for the nurse to get distracted by a movie and swipes the keys. After opening the storage, she grabs her confiscated phone and plugs it in. As soon as it turns on, she sees a ton of missed calls from Juno. Turns out, she'd snuck Juno a phone before going to the hospital. Samira calls back right away, but no one picks up. Cassandra's already caught Juno hiding in the closet. To throw Samira off, Cassandra yanks Juno's ear and makes her call Samira to say everything's fine. Feeling betrayed by her family, Cassandra loses it.
Ich wische eurem Dreck hinterher. Ich beschütze euch. Ich bin für euch da. Und ihr habt nichts Besseres zu tun, als mich zu hintergehen? Schämt euch. Schämt euch in Grund und Boden.
Samira can't shake her worries, so she sneaks out of the hospital that night. She slips into her home through the basement window. Cassandra finds out Samira's escaped when the nurse calls, but she doesn't want to deal with Samira herself. That'd make Finn and Juno hate her. To keep playing mom, Cassandra orders David to kill Samira.
Vielleicht hast du es noch nicht bemerkt, David. Deinen Kindern könnte ich kein Haar krümmen, aber auf dich könnte ich notfalls verzichten.
Scared for his life and in pain, David gives in. He grabs a weapon and sneaks towards Samira. Following Cassandra's directions, Cassandra also live streams this to Finn and Juno. During the fight, Samira whacks David on the head with a photo album. She bolts to the bedroom and hides in the closet. Suddenly, she spots a secret door at the back of the closet leading to a hidden room. It's full of toys, like a kid's room. While she's trying to figure it out, Cassandra bursts in and stabs her in the stomach. As Samira falls, she accidentally pulls down a curtain, revealing a dried corpse. Looking at the photos on the table, Samira realizes it's Cassandra's second child. Cassandra freezes up. It turns out, she didn't give away that deformed baby. She kept it hidden in this room, ignoring Horst's objections. 50 years ago, Horst promised to raise their daughter, so Cassandra agreed let him leave. But while she went to get the baby, Horst took off with his mistress and son. Peter wanted to jump out of the car not for Cassandra, but for his little sister. In the end, the girl left in the hidden room died alone and hungry. Samira begs Cassandra not to let the tragedy of kids losing their mother happen again.
Denk an Juno und Finn. Cassandra, was aus ihnen wird, wenn sie heute Nacht ihre Mutter verlieren, ermordet von der Frau, die sie hier gefangen hält. Glaubst du wirklich, sie könnten jemals darüber hinwegkommen und anfangen, dich zu lieben? Nur weil ich nicht mehr da bin.
Looking at her daughter's remains, Cassandra finally softens. Samira reunites with her kids, but before they can celebrate, they smell gas. Realizing the danger, David's family rushes outside. A second later, the whole house goes up in flames. The AI system, haunted by a mother's obsession from the last century, is destroyed. Cassandra is finally free, joining her daughter wherever they're meant to be.